and gentlemen, here we are back at historic Roosevelt Field. Dave Fazzini and Mark Kolodinsky with you once again, and we're here for the pregame stats checkup. And Mark, I've got all of the area leaders highlighted on my board. And you know what I notice? They're all Norristown, and more specifically, they're all Sheldon Mayer.
Yeah, and a couple Shannon Mayers mixed in. Sheldon Mayer with, 534 yards in the season in just 53 carries, averaging 10 yards a game. 5 is good. This guy's averaging 10 yards a game. Again, 534 yards. He's been doing everything for this Norristown team.
Some more statistics here. As you mentioned, 531 yards on 53 rushing attempts, 8 rushing touchdowns, and he's also one of the area's leading receivers. He can do it all, and he really is the engine that makes this Eagles team go. So one of the things we're looking for tonight is we're looking for another big game from Sheldon, but also we're looking for them to kind of get this homecoming crowd fired up.
Yeah, we got quite a crowd present today. It's a beautiful day. It's homecoming. The team is off to a 3-0 start, so it's really the perfect combination. Everyone's out here. It should be a nice, loud, obnoxious crowd. Hopefully they can rattle the Panthers, and hopefully these Eagles can get their 4th win of the season, stay undefeated.
One of the things that really has been a dramatic change for the Eagles this year is their ability to put up points. They are first in the area in total offense, averaging 416 total yards a game. That is unprecedented.
Yeah, and they've done it through the ground and through the air. 133 passing yards a game with Shannon Mayer, who's been remarkable so far this year, and 282 rushing yards a game. A ground attack that features not only Sheldon Mayer, but also Derek Williams, Tracy Presley, Anthony Dinolfi, among others.
These guys really can do it all, and as game action begins to start here at Roosevelt Field, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to see you in a little bit.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching boys varsity football on NASD TV. It's homecoming, and it's a tremendous atmosphere here tonight as the Norristown Eagles put their undefeated 3-0 record at stake against the visiting Cheltenham Panthers. And of course, the Panthers come in at 1-2, and a lot of people expect the Eagles to be able to beat this Cheltenham team pretty easily.
Well, as the captains meet at midfield, Mark, and under the watchful eye of the referee to determine who gets the ball first and all of that good stuff, they're putting their 3-0 record at stake against Cheltenham. And the only thing, we really have to consider tonight is, are the Eagles at risk of taking this team too lightly? Can they be overconfident? The last 4 seasons, we see the Eagles jump out to a 3-0 record. And we see them beat teams rather convincingly. Now, albeit not as convincingly as we've seen them do it here in this season, but are they at risk tonight of a little bit of overconfidence on their homecoming?
Certainly could be. Hopefully the coaches, E.J. Smith and the rest of them, have prevented that, because that's really where that attitude starts. But it's definitely a possible concern for them. It's just all about remaining focused and at the task at hand, and I think that it's actually not going to be a problem, although it certainly could be.
It certainly could be a problem. That's just one of the things to watch for here tonight. But as we mentioned in the pregame show, we talked a lot about Sheldon Mayer, and he rightfully gets a lot of the press for the Eagles because the other guy that we talked about as we were down in Eisenhower, we talked about Anthony Brody and his place within the offense. His place within the defense is well documented. All-star quarterback, just great all-around athlete, and feared every time he touches the ball, and feared by quarterbacks rightfully so. But what is his position in the offense? That's one of the things the Eagles are going to figure out here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be up to the coaches to try to be as creative as possible to get him the ball in certain situations, whether it be with short passes, deep passes, direct snaps, handoffs, ends around. There's so many different things they can do, and it's up to the coaches to determine what's going to work best.
Looks like the Eagles are going to get a chance to see what's going to work best first, because they've got a Keaton Boyd back returning, along with number 27, Brandon Shippen, back deep. And we're going to see here real quick what that Norristown ground game is made of, and also the big arm of sophomore phenom Shannon Mayer.
Akeem Boyd yet to return a kick this year, but Brandon Shippen does have one, which he returned for 13 yards. So we're just about ready to kick it off.
There's the kickoff.
And already we have whistles and flags.
Whistles and flags at first. This is a bad omen for Cheltenham.
Looks like they moved early on the kickoff coverage team. That'll set them back a couple of yards.
I don't blame them for having fear in their eyes against the fearsome Thanes. Back returning kicks for Norristown Area High School.
Yeah, we talk so much about all their weapons. I mean, special teams is one of the places where it's highlighted. A lot of times it's overlooked, however, but here's take 2 of the opening kickoff, this time from the 35. Alex Winter boots it away. It's a short, bad kick, and it's fielded by the Eagles and taken up to just shy of the 40-yard line, so they get outstanding field position to open this game up.
Famously good field position as we look and we get our first look at Norristown's offense here tonight with 21, Tracy Presley. The answer, I guess, at fullback. I mean, they really have found the perfect piece to that puzzle. Presley complements Sheldon Mayer very well, and the two of those guys have that thunder lightning feel in the backfield, doing very well, enabling Coach E.J. Smith to run some plays out of the eye.
Yeah, not only has he ran for a long touchdown this year, he's also done a great job blocking. That's an underrated key to Sheldon Mayer's outstanding start. Sheldon Mayer gets the initial handoff, and he'll take it about 2 yards.
It's evident that Cheltenham is going to be keying on Mayer, as he clearly is the Eagles' most dangerous threat, but by no means.
And of course, we expect to see a lot of Sheldon Mayer early, often, and everything in between. And we already get our first look at him on the first play from scrimmage.
As the Eagles line up, it'll be interesting to see whether or not they go to Mayer again, or whether they maybe throw him for a loop and go deep.
Roby and Hill, the wide receivers, with Battaglio at the tight end. Mayer back to throw. Throws near sideline. It's incomplete, intended for the big tight end, Evan Battaglio, but falls to the ground. Incomplete.
Nicely defended on that one by number 7, Dan Rouse. He got a hand on that, preventing Battaglio. The big Evan Battaglio makes a big target there at tight end, keeping him from getting what could have been some significant yardage.
Evan Battaglio with just one catch on the year, but it was for a 72-yard touchdown strike.
That's a good average.
Not bad. This time the Eagles go with 4 wide. Mayer back to throw, rolling out to his right. Throws for Mayer. He had him, but he could not hit him, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down.
He had him open just over his brother, just a tad, throwing it to the outside. Sheldon Mayer's got to get those outs a little bit under control. I mean, we talked about his accuracy improving dramatically from last year, but still, on some of those out patterns, he's got that big arm. He just has to work about staying focused and getting it to the receiver, especially when he's open.
So 2 passes and just 1 run on that first drive. Does that surprise you at all?
Very much so, Mark. It's an unconventional approach to unconventional early start for Coach Smith.
Taylor Hillenbrand fields the 1-hop snap and gets away a pretty good kick. And the Eagles allow but a half a yard on the return.
Good tackle by Shippen. That was a foolish move to return that one. Don't try to be a hero on special teams, because that's how you make fumbles.
And Taylor Hillenbrand's been a pretty good asset for the Eagles on special teams, averaging 32 yards, a punt, and he saved the turnover right there, picking that snap off the ground somehow.
Mark, if I had $1 for every time I said the Eagles' special teams won't continue, I would be a multi-trillionaire at this point, because those snaps, they just can't be ground balls to the shortstop every time. I mean, that's bad. I'd look like a putt from Tiger Woods.
So we'll get our first look at the Cheltenham offense. And this Eagles defense that's held teams just over 13 points a game. They hand it off, and it goes for a short gain.
Nice tackle there by number 52, Palazzo. Palazzo making a big hit, giving up a couple yards. And we talked about the Eagles priding themselves on their run defense. And at the Northeast game, we talked about the run defense really being where a football team prides itself on stopping yardage. You're going to give up a big pass play every now and again. That's a given. You can't stop them all. But the run game, you can keep a team from chewing up clock, and you can keep your offense fresh, keep your defense fresh. Most importantly, you're good.
Kenneth Cropper quarterbacking the Cheltenham Panthers, and he hands it off once again. And this time, not much of a hole either. It'll bring up 3rd and about 6.
Tried a little counterplay there, trying to capitalize on perhaps what they see as a perceived weakness in the Eagles' defensive line. I'm going to advise them not to do that. Marcus Robbins did a good job closing down on the pulling guard, keeping them a minimal gain. You're going to run the counter. You've got to make sure you're up against weak tackles, and that's just not the case for the Eagles.
Well, we have a matchup of sophomore quarterbacks tonight. Of course, Shannon Mayer for the Eagles and Kenneth Cropper for the Cheltenham Panthers. Two very inexperienced young men, but both very talented. 3rd and 5. They fake it to the fullback, and Cropper is sacked. That's number 63, Nick Bloomer, on the sack. What a big stop for the Eagles.
Inexperience was on display there, Mark. He's dropped back, ran into one of his own linemen, and just like a fish caught in a trap. He couldn't work his way out of it, and Bloomer got him. Good pursuit, good close in the pocket, not giving him any time. And that's that aggressiveness that needs to continue from this Norristown High defense.
So the Panthers bring on junior Alex Winter to punt it away on this 4th and 10. We've played 3 minutes. We have no score here at Roosevelt Field on homecoming night. That's a high but relatively shallow kick. Takes a bounce. And the Eagles are going to get good field position once again as they'll start just shy of midfield.
And the Eagles will do well for themselves to capitalize on this. They've got a really short field. High school punting is traditionally pretty bad. But that actually wasn't a bad kick. Got some good hang time and allowed for good coverage, keeping it away from the Eagles' speedy return men. But let's see what happens on this drive.
Would you like to see them run it a little bit more, or did you like them opening it up with the passing game early?
I love them opening it up. I want to see them use Mayer's arm, but I think they're back in the eye now, and they're going to run.
They hand it off to Sheldon Mayer, and he picks up about 2 or 3.
Now here's a question for you. Do you like the use of Mayer as primarily what they've been using him for is between the tackles back? I mean, he works well in open space, but they've really had him shouldering a lot of between the tackles running this year. Do you think that's a good option, or do you think you might want to pursue use Presley more in that role?
Yeah, I'd like to see him run to the outside more often than not. Of course, he's your horse, he's your lead dog, so he's going to have to do a little bit of inside running. But like you said, they've been using him a lot there. And even split him out as a wide receiver more than they've been doing. I'd like to see that a little bit too. They go with 3 wide receivers here, though, and hand it off to Presley. Finds a hold to the outside. He picks up the 1st down, and now there's a late flag down. This is in the area of a hold. So
looks like we're going to have a hold on that one.
Looks like Tracy Presley's 9 or 10 yard run is going to come back.
Good blocking downfield. It was a shame to waste that. It was a nice run by Presley. Presley looked for open space, and he shows a little more speed than you normally see in a fullback. Tracy was able to break that to the outside. There was nice blocking downfield. Too bad some of it was holding.
Yeah, but yet another weapon emerges in this Eagles offense that defenses have to account for. I mean, there's just so many. To have a fullback who can break runs to the outside like that, I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, most teams don't have one good running back. The Eagles have 3 or 4. They have a whole stable of talented athletes that really, not that they're interchangeable parts, because clearly Mayer is the best. I mean, Mayer is all area spectacular. But they have other guys who could step up and take some of the heat off Sheldon.
Well, the Eagles come out in their usual formation with Hill and Roby split out as the wide receivers. Presley and Mayer in the backfield along with Battaglio at the tight end spot. Mayer hands off to Sheldon Mayer. Finds a little hole to the outside up the sideline, and he's out of bounds just shy of the 1st down, it appears. I'll actually mark him out a couple of yards shy as he might have stepped out back there.
Nice run by Sheldon. Stepped out instead of turning into contact. You don't like to see that, but at the same time, he showed a good burst of speed to get around and put the Eagles in a very manageable 3rd and 4th. really use the screen pass very effectively, and I wonder if that's because they don't think that the personnel can do it. They have a rather big offensive line. I don't know if they're speedy enough to get out there. It'd be interesting to see whether or not the Eagles use more of a screen, because that's a way to use Roby.
Well, here comes, like you said, a manageable 3rd and 4. They'll hand it off to Presley, and I think he has it. It should be really, really close.
He's really close, and if he didn't get it, they're going to go for it. Because, I mean, you're not going to punt. Well, it's a moot point anyway. I was going to make a field goal reference, but we don't want to go there.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I feel like he got a favorable spot on there because it looked like he reached out the ball past the marker, but I thought his knee already hit at that point, and then he reached it out past the marker. But the Eagles will take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to argue with results, and Presley bangs it in up the middle, and he also does a good job around end. So Tracy Presley doing some nice work here in the early parts of the first half.
Once again in the I form with the Panthers showing blitz and now backing off. Here's Mayer. Had nowhere to go in the backfield, but somehow turned it into a 2-yard gain and then fought forward for an extra yard or 2.
Sheldon made a good decision there. There was nothing around end. They had the play clearly shut down. It was designed to go off tackle. He sees a little gap and makes something out of nothing.
Larry Smith comes into the game offensively. We haven't seen them use him on offense much this year, so we'll see if there's anything up with that. But the Eagles have 2nd and 9 with 6 minutes, 52 seconds to go, and no score here at Roosevelt Field. I'm Mark Hodinsky, along with Dave Fazzini. You're watching Eagles football on NASD TV as the Eagles look to go to 4-0.
Looks like they're going to be running a 2 tight end set with Battaglio and Smith with the single back Mayer and Roby at the wing.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of this type of formation from the Eagles with 2 tight ends, but they hand it off to Mayer, and he gets a nice solid chunky yardage, about 5.
Gets about 5, and usually when you have 2 big tight ends like Larry Smith, who, like you said, doesn't get used often in that role, usually you're going to run. I mean, it's very seldom that an offensive, like a high school offense, has somebody like 6'2", 250 Evan Battaglio, and 6'1", 210, pushing 215 Larry Smith at tight end. That's size that you run behind.
And strength, too. And, I mean, those guys are pretty athletic as well.
Yeah, it's evident that they've been doing their work in the weight room this offseason.
Absolutely. 3rd and 5. The Eagles moving the ball slowly but surely on this drive. Mayer drops back to throw. He has a man. It's Mayer, and he steps out of bounds after picking up the 1st down. Nicely drawn up.
Nicely drawn up, and the Shannon to Sheldon connection was nice there. And Sheldon's little Gene Kelly tap dance move at the end is what picked up that 1st down. He held back, did a little 2-step, got it in.
Well, believe it or not, that's only Sheldon Mayer's 2nd catch of the year, but the first one was for 82 yards, so that puts him among the yardage leaders of the area.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about, like, that he's among the yardage leaders of the area just on basis of that 1 catch alone. Just shows you how explosive he is.
And that 1 catch was huge in the game situation. It really put that first Northeast game away. They hand it off here to Presley, still going, and finally falls forward after a very solid gain of about 6 or 7.
You know what's different about the Eagles team this year, Mark? They are taking what the defense is giving them. Instead of forcing Sheldon to the outside, or instead of putting themselves in positions where they force their game plan, they're seeing weaknesses in Cheltenham and they're exploiting them, getting 4 or 5 yards at a chunk, but methodically moving the ball down the field. Looks like they're using the eye again here.
Yeah, as they normally do, although they've mixed it up a great deal on this first half of a quarter. They hand it off to Mayer. Up the middle, he has a hole. And he's near a 1st down. Let's see if he got it.
You know that as they continue to soften this defense up, Sheldon's going to break one. I mean, that's inevitable.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've said it in previous weeks as well. It seems like with Mayer, it's 4 yards here, 2 yards there, 3 yards here, and then bang, a 65-yarder for a touchdown. I mean, in that Central Bucks South game, I believe he had 5 touchdowns. I believe 4 of them were over 50 yards or something like that. I mean, he just breaks off big ones like
That's
it's
amazing.
Yeah. Well, Sheldon does not pick up the 1st down. It's 3rd and 1. Let's see what the Eagles do in this short yardage situation. That's C.J. Douglas in the backfield. And they'll sneak it with Mayer, and there's a huge hole. I don't know how that happens. And he takes it all the way down to the 15. He got it, and then some.
Normally there's like a nose tackle there, but I guess not. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, it looked like he was expecting to just fall forward and see if he could pick it up. And then he's stumbling, and he's got running room all of a sudden up the middle.
Wow. This has been some drive for the Eagles. The Eagles are not known for their grinded-out style.
No. They're usually a big play, explosive offense, but slowly but surely cranking out yardage right here.
Take what they give you.
They got Battaglio split out wide on this play. Big red zone threat with his size. They'll hand it off to Mayer, and he stopped after a gain of about 2.
Nice block there by C.J. Douglas, but only a 2-yard gain for Mayer. With that kind of collision, though, from your lead blocker, Sheldon followed it. He did the right thing, but Cheltenham's defense closed quickly. There's a noticeable size difference between these two teams. Norristown is physically just bigger than this Cheltenham Panthers team, and they're going to wear them down.
Looks like they already are. I mean, just on this drive alone, I mean, it's already covered, what, 5 minutes of clock time.
5 minutes of time.
Mayer hands off to Sheldon. Mayer are trying to get the edge. Doesn't really quite get there, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
Nice closing speed there by number 20, Chris Stevens. Really good speed to get to Mayer. I didn't think he was going to get him, but he cut off that angle and just took it from him. Going to be like 3rd and 6.
Just over 2.5 minutes in the first quarter. It's been not very many stoppages in this clock with the Eagles running the way they are. Not many flags. It's been a quick first quarter. No score.
Fast game here at historic Roosevelt Field. The tall fescue grass glistening under the custom lights.
3rd and 6. Mayer drops back to throw. Now he wants to run, and now he has it batted down at the line by number 7 of Cheltenham. That is Dan Rouse, the 5'11", 190-pound senior safety on the nice play, deflecting that pass before Shannon Mayer could inflict any damage.
So, what do you do?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm tempted to try the field goal. I know they've had trouble even kicking extra points, and I mean, it looks like they're going to go for it, but I don't know how much I like this, especially with how well the offense is done. To come away completely empty would just be bad. Although then again, if you kick the field goal, you run the risk of doing that as well with the struggles. Yeah, that's also a problem. Sheldon there split out wide as a wide receiver. 4th and 6. Mayer drops back. They'll trust him to throw on this big 4th down. Flushed out of the pocket. Throws it up, a prayer, and it's over the back of the end zone, and that play was all around ugly and doomed from the start with the pressure.
Lot of pressure. Coach Smith is going to be furious about that pressure up the middle, right in Mayer's face. You're not making too many passes when you have to roll out like that. Even if you're Donovan McNabb, you're not making throws like that too often. Off your back foot, under pressure to the back of the end zone, you're putting the man in an untenable position.
So we're still scoreless. And Cheltenham, I'd say sizable underdogs in this game, aren't in any trouble so far.
Looks like the band's playing a little NFL highlight music.
First and 10. They'll start at about their own 15. Cropper drops back, throws over the middle, and hits his man. For just a short gain of about 5, they pick up half of what they need for the first down.
Nice pass there. They've shown what they can do in the passing game. Not bad.
Justin Ferguson on the catch. Minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. Still no score.
Norristown's defense. See if they buckle down. Do what they do here on 2nd and 1.
Cropper hands it off. And losing yards on the play is number 9, Eric Waters.
Nice play there by 52. We're calling Palazzo's name a lot in the early going. Palazzo's closing down. Making big hits.
So it's now 3rd and 1 with under a minute to go in the first quarter. Eagles threatened on that last drive but came up empty, and now it's the Panthers trying to avoid going 3 and out right here. Once again, it's Waters in the backfield, and Cropper under center as the quarterback. Cropper rolls out. Looks like a designed run play for him. Oh, he escaped somehow, and I think he got it. Wow, he was surrounded by blue jerseys and somehow got out of there.
You got to make that tackle. I mean, on the one hand, that's a nice play by Waters to escape, but on the other hand, that's sloppy play by the Eagles. You have to make that play, you have to put him down.
That may bring us to the end of the first quarter, and it will, as Cheltenham won't attempt to get another playoff. And we have no score. So the Eagles' juggernaut offense that's been putting up over 37 points a game has been silenced by a relatively unheralded Cheltenham defense.
A relatively unheralded and 1-2 Cheltenham defense. This is turning out to be a bit more of a contest than we may have thought in the beginning, because Cheltenham comes in with a 1-2 record. That can often be misconstrued, and like I said, maybe they took them lightly. I don't see that, but who knows? As the band gets blasted here at historic Roosevelt Field, it looks like some people are dancing and enjoying the spirit of music, getting into the spirit of the season before Homecom.
Yeah, the fan turnout, as expected, has been outstanding. And
they turned out on